protocol and play again, and that is great news considering the Celtics' initial fears when he was hurt Friday in Denver. Walker left the court on a stretcher after suffering what was later determined to be a neck sprain. He'd hoped to play Monday night against the Kings, but the team decided to delay that return in his best interests. He's back from that 5-game trip to find the Kings on the parquet on Monday night. Bogdan Bogdanovic over to Harrison Barnes, who had 20 on the night. Kings out on the road, the East Coast. Celtics 25-7 run here.
Yeah, I got a 3-point. Didn't shoot very well from the 3-point line. Got one there, but all night long, the Sacramento was letting those 3 go. I love that long pass like that. I just look up and find the guy. You see him leaking out, and nice pass by Smart.
And Jaylen Brown with the steal. He's going coast to coast. Tatum with 20, Brown with 24, and the Celtics with a 7-point halftime lead. But the Kings weren't done because Buddy Hield had the feeling.
How about that? Second night of a back-to-back, he plays 42 minutes, ends up with 41 points, gets up 21 threes.
You can't do that. That's load management. What is going on? You can't score on the second night of a back-to-back.
Love that play.
Buddy, what's wrong with it?
11 of 21 from three-point range. As a team, the Kings knocked down 18 of their 47 attempts, and that one got them within a point. It's late. Marcus Smart into the paint and good. He had 17.
That play, he just bully-balled me. He just ran him over and took him to the rack.
Final possession, Bogdanovic. No. Boston hangs on to win at 103-102, so the C's split the season series and remain perfect at home. Remember, it was the Kings who ended their big win streak. Hield's 11 threes ties an NBA record for the most in a loss. Kings haven't won in Boston now since 2007. And Kevin, without Kemba Walker on the floor, how about Tatum and Brown doing their thing?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the offense falls to those guys to make shots. And I like when Tatum's being active with the ball and attacking and making some passes and stuff. And he can put the ball on the floor. And I like that when he's doing this, when he's getting into the paint and making things. The Celtics don't turn the ball over themselves, and they do run off turnovers. Brown's another guy. He's just electric with the ball, and those guys are on the solid defense. And anytime Tatum and Brown get themselves layup, they get going because they're both capable of making threes, shooting the ball well. But I don't want either one of those guys being my volume shooter from behind the line.
Right,
I want those guys going to the rack, getting to the free throw lines, playing solid defense, and sometimes both of them, in my opinion, settle too much for the long shot.
Well, I think they got a little stagnant there. They play great in the flow, as you're talking about. They got some rhythm coming up and down the floor, and part of that is, without a point guard like Kemba Walker on the floor, they got stagnant at the end. What did we count? Maybe 5 of their last 7 possessions were ended in step back or fadeaway ISOs and long post footers. Jumpers. And, Sacramento just kept coming. Buddy Hield kept him in the game with all of those threes. Bogdanovic, they featured him in a lot of pick and rolls. I mean, almost to the point where on that clip right there, I'm like, what would you just let Rashawn Holmes have the layup? Don't tag him. Don't leave Buddy standing out there. But again, I thought a great battle for the Kings. I think they're playing much better.
Yeah.
And they get to go home now and have a stretch at home.
They found something, and remember, they've been better even without De'Aaron Fox, who's still away from this team with injury. Let's go to the Heat, who maybe had their worst game of the season against Philadelphia the other night. They come back with the Hornets in South Florida. Heat's still perfect on their home floor at this point. Jimmy Butler sticks with his own. Tip slam is good. For the Hornets, Terry Rozier. Struck you about Rozier in his first year in Charlotte?
He's being aggressive. I think he's got a chance to have the ball more. He's going to attack, but he did not want to play Miami tonight after they just got bum rushed by Philly. They were in a bad mood, and they took it out on Charlotte.
Knocked down 7 threes in the second quarter on 12 attempts. Kelly Olynyk getting into it there, and it's a 69-58 halftime lead.
Miami shoots 51% for the game and holds Charlotte to 41%. Now, this is a game for Charlotte now. Let's not forget. They had their hearts broken the other night by Zach LaVine in Chicago. They needed to come back and play well and kind of find out what they're made of as well.
They've been on both ends of heartbreaking so far this season, Charlotte has. Jimmy Butler with 21 on the night. Kelly Olynyk lays that home, 15 and a career-high 16 boards for him. The rookie Tyler Hero off the screen. He had 18, and the lead is 17 at that point. Bam Adebayo attacking. He goes for 21. Miami wins it 117-100. So as I mentioned, they're still perfect at home. They've won 6 of 7 overall. The Hornets have now dropped 5 straight. Much more to get to here on Game Time. The Wolves' top 2 stars proved too much for the Hawks here in Atlanta. The highlights of that one just ahead. Plus,